Hi, so this is my assignment 5 over revisions to my assignment 4 teaching unit. Um, so I chose to do backward design for my unit, and um, to quote Wiggins and McTighe, I'm not sure how to say that last name. I chose backward design because I found that it is deliberate and focused. I really like how it makes you pinpoint the skills that you want to teach, and then um, figure out what your end goal is, and then go back and fill in how you want those skills to incorporate into that end goal. So I think my unit went very well. Some revisions I would make. I found that when teaching similes to my students, they were able to understand it and grasp it, but it took longer than what I thought, and I had to break it down a lot more for them. So the revisions that I would make to my unit, I actually did make while I was teaching it, and one of the revisions was that I made a more broken down method for teaching similes and gave them some really specific examples that we went through together as a class on um, on the way to think when you're making that simile and what you need to be thinking of, adjectives and nouns and other things like that, for how to create that simile. And then something that I didn't do, but I would the next time I teach it, after we did our similes, we had to just write descriptive sentences, and they couldn't get out of making similes. They kept wanting to write those sentences as similes. So I would add in a component next time about how to write a description after we do that simile, and then maybe do some practice where, okay, this is a simile description, this is just a sentence description, and let them go back and forth between the two so they're not just in one mindset. In terms of my unit, my understandings I wanted students to take away was that by adding details in a description, you can help to clarify your meaning. And I think that all of the tasks that we did, they showed that students came away with that understanding um, by doing by looking at pictures and adding descriptions. It was able for them to get that clearer picture of like a barn or a snowy field, and get the feeling of the picture rather than just the noun of the picture. Um, the real world application was to create an original descriptive paragraph over something that they could see in the church. So what we did, this is a parochial school, so we went over to the church and I just told them to pick out one item, and that was their item they were going to write a paragraph over to really describe. So it helps them to be able to um, see things in a little more detail in the world around them. So that's where that real world uh, knowledge came in. Finally, in terms of assessments, I used a variety of formal and informal assessments, class discussions, students giving me thumbs up, thumb down for how they felt they were understanding, which is why I was able to revise on the go, because I could see that they were not understanding the simile part of the unit. Um, and then, of course, quizzes throughout just to check for understanding. And you can see here I have my individual lessons, and it has the you do part, which was, what I used for some of that formal assessment. And then finally, our last part of the unit was doing the typed component of their paragraph, and this allowed me to implement that ISTE standard for educators. um, of, of troubleshooting um, and learning alongside my students 2.4.B, and allowing them to um, see what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and giving them a chance to create alongside. And so that was my unit, and the revisions and rationale for everything I did with it.